I am beyond excited. Dude, I couldn't even sleep last night, and I went to the weekend concert at Levi Stadium. The 49er Foundation invited Shomit James, Jessica James, and all our own companies to the weekend. And this rapper named Playboy Cardi. But that was not nearly as exciting of who I have here. I can't get enough. I'm obsessively watching the podcast over and over again because I love hearing myself. But no, we have Mr. I'm not calling you doctor.
Absolutely.
John Edshami, CEO of Additive Implants. We are in your town. John, thank you for being here.
No, thanks for coming to my town, and thanks for having me on. But this way you get two different characters on. It's like Borat is played by, whatever character. So there's John Edshami, the spine surgeon, and then John Edshami, the CEO of Additive Implants. And being the CEO of Additive Implants, being a doctor actually ends up being a liability, in terms of getting hospital approvals and all sorts of nightmares. That's
that's real talk,
that's
dude.
real talk.
And I'm a problem solver, so that's why I like staying close to you, because you need something from me and I need something from you. Do you remember when we had this conversation?
Yes.
Yeah, what did you need from me?
I needed sales.
You needed sales.
Access
Why
to the
did you
market.
call on me?
Because you're the man.
Because, dude, I didn't pay you to say that, did I?
No, you did not.
I did not pay you. We don't do that. But what I have here is I need him to teach me how to talk to my father-in-law.
Oh, there you go.
I need him to learn how to treat my Persian wife. Because, John, when you sent that picture of you and your wife going out in a nice outfit, both of you guys look stunning, your wife more than you. And then you guys stopped and went and shot hoops. Tell me about that.
No, it's always an interesting night. We keep our date night every Saturday night. So that's the one key to maintaining the relationship is the kids can't be there all the time. So Monday through Saturday, you got the kids and they're everything, but then you need 3-4 hours to just reconnect. And because the relationships exist between individuals, not, you and I have a relationship between you and me, and then bringing third parties into it, triangulation or whatever they call it in psychology, that doesn't really help advance it. So if you have a problem with someone, you need to address it with that person. If you're trying to work towards a common goal, you need to be able to communicate, make sure you're on the same page. And even football, I didn't play much, but
you played. You're 6 feet. I just asked you how tall you were. You look like you're 6'1", 6'2". I would say 6'2" with shoes on. Round up.
Yeah, I definitely can't bench much, but I actually have strong legs. So I play
That's
soccer.
where it matters.
So I went out for kicking, being the place kicker. And then they wanted you to work out with the team. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Did you take a hit?
No,
Did you take a hit?
I can't
Maybe that is why you looked at the injuries, flexion extension injuries from hitting. They didn't really work on how to hit someone with kids. I used to play football. I sacrificed my body. I sometimes put my head down and then boom. Now I have a flexion injury. And now we have to hit with the face mask first, or shoulder first, then face mask. Yeah. So they're teaching more, right?
Yeah,
there needs to be science on the cervical spine.
Yeah, absolutely.
For young people.
Yeah. And Dr. Theodore, who used to be here at BNI, he's a big guy now at Hopkins.
He just looked at my LinkedIn profile, by the way.
Yeah. And
I didn't circle him.
Talk about a big guy. That guy is
He didn't accept my friendship, though.
Oh, he will.
Okay.
There's probably, somebody, he's the nicest guy ever. And I never forget, back in the day, he sent me a patient once because I think he didn't take his insurance, or she was whatever it was. But she was like, "Nice, go see John. He'll do a good job." I did an ALIF on her back in the day. And his sons both row. So he's a very athletic family. And I think, one of the things about these docs that take care of athletes, they've been in some points in that, in that position. So they know how important it is. And like a whole team, the whole family is eating off of this one guy's efforts. So how important it is, and a lot of stress, but then they got to kind of stand their ground, and they actually know the patient. So like everybody knows every football player is non-compliant. So like if you want a football player not to use their arm, you freaking cast it.
You have to just tie it.
Yeah, and
handcuff them to the bed.
And they just can't follow directions. And we're supposed to, like every basketball player, like yes sir, or every baseball player, like okay, baseball player, but basketball players definitely.
You
like,
said they're compliant, right?
Yeah, amazingly.
Wow,
And some of it has to do with the league rules. I think basketball players, if you're getting paid whether you're injured or not, so there's no incentive of you sacrificing your body as much. But all that aside, it's there's a lot of different ways of looking at this and getting the perspective on this. Excuse me. So one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up on your show is what it took and what the reasoning was behind creating Additive Implant.
Yeah, it's your show.
Yeah, so it's got your name on it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's not about salesmen, but it kind of goes along with kind of part of death of a salesman is the death of surgeon input into product development. And a good friend of mine, Lala from Reno, you might know, always talks about what's more important, the engineering or the medicine part, the surgical part.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, and so for me, it's you can always teach a surgeon engineering and what stress and strain are, but that stress of being in the operating room and I try and explain that on an A-lift that we're working on an A-lift. And my surgeon, my engineer's like, why can't the retractor be like this? I'm like, because there's a really important vessel there. And if it nicks the vessel, the patient just dies.
Game over.
Yeah. And he's like, what do you mean dies? I'm like, you bury them in the ground.
Vascular surgeon is going to be there quick enough.
Yeah. And so, that's the part I think that explaining that to engineering is the stress level. And because in engineering, you always do it. If it doesn't work, you redesign it. And when the instrument is bloody, it's slick, it's the end of the day. You have, you're doing the T2 to pelvis. You have put in all these screws, and you're exhausted. I mean, the handle needs to work, and it's like, what's wrong with doing this? It's like there's nothing wrong with doing it if that's all you're doing all day. But if you have to, get 4 cases done, 5 cases done in a day, and then do some additional work afterwards. It's there's a lot more challenge on you doing that.
Yeah.
So I think one of the important things that I've learned wearing all these hats, and I used to be
You wear a ton of hats, dude. Impressive.
Is that what the surgeons bring is very difficult to quantify and really difficult to teach. I mean, you've been in the OR, you see the stress level, how different surgeons handle these different stresses, and how like an equipment malfunction can kind of deteriorate the whole day, can deteriorate your relationship with that surgeon.
God, hands down.
Yeah.
Hands down.
And that's something you can't explain to an engineer. The second thing is from an engineer standpoint, and that brings me to the FDA, they don't care about how good the product works. They care if the product fails. So one day we were looking.
They're almost like waiting for it to fail, and they're ready to pounce. Are they like outside in the bushes? Like, no. I mean, seriously, I want to know what an FDA agent looks like. Do they have that?
No, so an FDA agent looks just like any other government employee. They like their job and they want to keep it. They got great benefits, great health care, great pension plan until like 6 months ago you couldn't get fired.
What about they got axed? Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So now that's a new phenomenon.
Yeah, new
right?
phenomenon.
So those guys have
Was
to.
that Doge that did that?
Yeah. I mean, and apparently the Supreme Court says it's okay, but
off with their heads. Sorry.
Independent of political activities, but from the FDA standpoint, like the breast implants, clear example. So there was a pretty significant failure rate.
Yeah, they were exploding.
Yeah, like 10%.
Famous people.
And so the FDA got into why are you approving these products that are failing? And they're like, well, when they fail, it's not like a catastrophic failure. It's not like somebody dies. You have to go in there, revise it.
Yeah.
It's breast
It's just doing the world a disservice not to give breasts.
Yeah. And so
I'm sorry. Let me snap out of it. I'm in Scottsdale, dude.
And yeah, so there's, but from a engineering regulatory standpoint, the FDA got into a lot of trouble. A lot of people lost their job because of the amount of failures of breast implants. And the regulatory people, the people in the FDA, take that as a warning. So you can have an implant that has amazing outcomes, but if they have any doubt that it's going to break or fail, they just won't even consider that in terms of in their approval process. So all the criteria, for example, for the cervical cage, there's a test you have to do.
Yes, you got it in your hand.
Yeah.
We need to go into your lattice, your structure. It's one of the best designed cages and thoughtful cages ever. And I'm so excited about hearing this in depth.
Okay.
Lee.
Absolutely. So thank you again for listening. The cage we designed initially, we're looking at the criteria the FDA uses, and the test is called the F2077 test. It's an ASTM standard. And it's something like 1,500 newtons, and every 5 newtons is about a pound. So 1,500 newtons loaded 5 million cycles. So one of my engineers was doing some calculations, said, listen, even if Mike Tyson punches you in the head, you're carrying 1,000 newtons. So this cage has to withstand grandma, for example, having a 1-level ACDF and getting punched in the head 5 million times by Mike Tyson.
Dude, punch grandma in the face. Do they have a movie like that? Grandma's Boy or
something like that. Throw mama off the
Remember
train,
that Owen one with Danny DeVito?
Yes.
That was a good one. Throw mama from the train.
Yeah, that's an 80s. You can't make that. One. Can't make those movies today. No. But the loading scenarios are completely unreasonable.
Right.
So the only reason these loading scenarios are so high is so that the product doesn't fail, because the FDA doesn't get blamed if you have a non-union or malunion or the subsidence.
Yeah.
They get blamed if the cage breaks, because that's a reportable event. Bad patient outcomes is not a reportable event.
Where is that reportable?
It's not. It's just your product just.
But aren't you guys doing that as your colleagues are trying to do that from a university level?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But those are not. I mean, the ones for the cervical disc replacement are the most vigorous, best vetted data.
Yeah.
In spine is that for the arthroplasty groups. The people involved took great effort to get good data out of it. But then even with that, there's still learning curves and whatever else that goes along with it. But the point of this was, once we realized that the FDA is just trying to protect its own entity and it's not worried about patient outcomes, because the implants we have right now for the cervical spine are way too stiff and way stronger than they actually need to be.
Elaborate for, say, the 5-year-old in the room, talk to a layman, but then also talk enough for an advanced person that doesn't know what gigapascals are. And
very good on the gigapascals.
Oh, I am smart.
There you go. So the FDA doesn't want your implant to break.
Yes.
Because if it breaks, then they somehow missed it by approving you, and you shouldn't have been approved.
What happened to Strkyer on titanium? It shattered in one of my cases. Not that I was doing it, but my surgeon got mad at me.
It shattered in many people's cases.
One of your cases?
Yeah, no. I did. But I got a phone call on because they knew
you weren't using Strkyer.
No, I was not. But
good for you.
One of the surgeons in town put it in, and it broke. And exactly when he twisted it.
Yeah, the bullet-shaped one.
Same
one.
And so they called me in the OR and said, hey, by the way, so they called my rep, and who was not a Strkyer rep either, but they're like, because they're calling me, trying to get hold of me, said, hey, we're in the operating room. This cage broke. What should we do? I'm like, don't go fishing for it, because they kind of knew I was into this stuff and engineering and all this.
How would you have fished that out, though?
No, you fish it out through an A-lift, right? That's how you fish it out. But I said, just leave it alone. Leave the broken piece in there. It's meant to be implanted, as long as this doesn't migrate out.
Yeah.
So just leave whatever's in there
Compress it in the back.
And compress it in the back. And if you're really worried, just do another pliff on the other side, and, don't do the same
Well
thing.
done. I would have done. I would have done the same thing as a
because
bailout.
the amount of damage you're going to. You see, the problem is you go looking for that thing, and then you push it anteriorly, and it falls into the retroperitoneal space next to a blood vessel or something. Now you have to open up the belly. So the baiting thing is take a bad situation and you make it worse.
Can I give you a scenario that we had that we've done it numerous times?
Yeah.
This is for all the reps out there. So yeah, the cage is too far anterior, right? And some of these surgeons on the expandable cages, they like to push it. The inserter blocks their view in the disc space. And so they get it to a certain place and they bail on the inserter. And then they go, shit, I got to hit that more anteriorly. So we give them a tamp and they hit it and then it's kind of fish mouth.
Yeah.
Right. You see the scenario and then it goes through even more. Now we are in oh shit moment. That's pretty anterior. So what was always our bailout, right? And one of my surgeons and I actually said this is like to engineers, if you can put it in, you got to take it out. You got to have better ways of bailing out on this because these are real life scenarios. And with my engineering team, I'm like, hey, I need to know every type of contingency. Now, what we would do is if you're doing a TLIF on a unilateral side, on the symptomatic side, you're going to go on the contralateral side and you're going to open that up, just the same prep that you would. And then you're going to take a paddle, which is, you don't want a shaver. You do not want to damage the end plate. You just want a blunt paddle. That's why I always bring shavers and paddles. So you take a paddle with a little bigger size, and I know you might cringe, but then the surgeon would turn it, open it up, or you can use, you open it up, and now there's a little window to go and like, we made a instrument, my design, that grabs the back of it because a lot of these expandable cages have a big set screw. Or you can get around on it, clamp it down, tighten it down, and then slap hammer it out. Okay. So, look, that's just something. Do not try to copy it or try to copy it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It helps the patient. So why do I care, John?
Yeah. No, that's good. But hopefully you kind of avoid getting yourself into that scenario, right?
Yeah. That's a better one. Yeah.
That's a better one to do. No, but I've seen it. And sometimes you think you know where you're at, but it's really you have a two-dimensional view of a three-dimensional problem. So without the flora there, or bad things can basically happen. But so with how this all ended up, if that was a startup company as opposed to one of the largest companies, they would have definitely folded, right? But the same thing. How did they
keep that quiet?
No, it's not just that. It's the hydraulic cage. So I can't tell you.
Acculift. I was, dude. You were not going there. You know I was on that team with Strkyer at the time. I got a lot to say about Acculift. I think it was $75 million.
Yeah.
It was Sig Bervin's cage.
Oh, okay.
It was out of Redwood City. I know we're not talking about Acculift, but let's talk about your cage.
No, you could have. If they had just taken that money
Reebok pump. That was stupid. That was the stupidest cage with saline. I hate everyone that made me try to sell it. And I sold it okay, but I was going against Caliber and Rise. Are you kidding me? God.
Yeah. And it's not that it didn't work. It just only worked for about 15, 20 minutes until the
pressure got. I love when you laugh. Yeah, I love when you laugh about stupid design. But they bought it for $75 million. Yeah. How dumb is Strkyer? That's probably why they spun off.
Yeah. No, the Strkyer thing, it's this.
They have good reps.
They definitely have good reps.
They hire like athletes.
Yeah. And they're not.
Why'd they hire me though?
They're not nice to their reps. I can't tell you. Out of every company that I have ever worked with, I had more Strkyer reps literally cry in my arms because of the support from their team.
Is that Tim Noren that runs the distributorship here?
Oh no, actually, Tim's not my rep. Tim's an amazing guy. Tim's a tough guy. He can bench.
Oh, dude, he's
pounds.
humongous. Yeah. I went to training with him at Strkyer. That's why I love Tim. Yeah,
Tim's amazing. I don't think he doesn't strike me as a person, but some of the Tim covers the neurosurgeons in town, and this is well beyond my current Strkyer team or now VB team. But the sales team, the sales organization was just so overbearing and literally, I've never seen this in any other. I mean, it's not like the other companies like Medtronic or something aren't big, but the amount of kind of negative energy on the sales team, and they're like literally actively working against them. But yeah,
Can I tell you where that comes from? 20% growth
yeah,
from their old CEO that had an affair on his company plane, the Strkyer plane, before Kevin Lobo. You know that one got buried?
no.
I was there at the time because I was at Medtronic and we used that against them. Your CEO is doing these things on his plane and asking for 20% growth to the reps.
Yeah.
And they were some of the hardest working reps in there. But to your point, they got beat up.
Really not appreciated. Yeah. So, my favorite failure stories are, the hydraulic cage, which was, how can you not know that fails? And there was just kind of obvious. But then there was also Arrow, which was the
stupid bladed things.
That without.
Did you ever use that?
No, of course not.
Why didn't you use that? That was Hun Bei, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Or Larry Koo, one of them.
Dr. Pei is amazing.
I'm not talking smack.
Yeah, he is.
I told him about Lululemons.
I
told him about Lululemon pants.
Very much. He's an HSS grad, and he's the
shout out to your alma mater.
And he is kind of the poster child of he's just so business savvy and just knows how to talk, and great surgeon. And
he's in LA, dude. He's bad.
He's not in LA. He's in Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah. You better know. You better look good.
Yeah.
You look good. You play good. Deion Sanders.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he literally is Deion Sanders. And amazingly,
he hasn't started a company though, like Additive Implants, like yourself.
He's had multiple. Yeah.
Has he?
He started. He had a very. He sold.
He's not wearing as many hats as you.
He delegates better, and
can you just take a compliment, sir?
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
But I'm clearly outclassed by Hung Bei. I mean, he would tell you that himself. But he had a very nice he had a very nice bone graft company that he sold to Johnson and Johnson. For a good amount with a good exit, and so
look, I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to say, does he use DePuy?
I don't know. He used a lot of.
Was it Vivagen?
Yeah.
Was it a cellular allograft?
I can't tell you what it was. I can't.
Can I ask you one question?
It was synthetic. I can tell you.
It was synthetic.
Yeah.
God, what is okay? I'm so glad it's probably gone. But let me ask you this: what biologics do you use in your cage?
I use
the additive cage.
Yeah, I use iFactor.
Yeah, baby. Okay. We sell. What about the new P15 that's coming out?
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was nothing wrong with the old P15. The handling characters. That's one of the things we actually found out about this design. Is a lot of surgeons were using this design because they wanted iFactor to sit in.
Yeah.
A cage.
Do you feel like it doesn't sit in there?
It sits in here super well. So the old iFactor that had poor handling characteristics for posterior lateral lumbar fusion. We actually put some iFactor in this cage, and we literally couldn't get it out.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah. Dude, Therapeutics better sponsor my show. Honestly, and you know what? I sell a lot of it.
No,
down the street.
They have a new VP of marketing, amazing guy. So,
what's his name?
I'll connect you.
I work for them. They should know me.
He just started too.
Matt Pullen. You know Matt Pullen? He's their regional guy for Arizona. Matt Pullen. He was a former Globus guy. Anyways, doesn't matter. We're not here to talk about therapeutics. We're here to talk.
But speaking of, the CEO is one of the smartest people I've met. Berkeley grad, PhD.
Are you being biased because you went to Berkeley?
Yeah, she did go to Berkeley.
Yeah, dude. Come on, you're so biased.
It was. But they've really realized that they need to work more on marketing.
They suck.
Yeah, they do. But
I market better for them. We're marketing better for them right now.
Yeah, they've been really focused on too much.
I want a
science.
paycheck.
Yeah, they're too much on the science part. I'm like, the science works. You just need to tell the story better. And they put these, interesting slides up on.
No, it's a lot of the guys that were on VTOS, right? So did you know that? What's our guy's name? The PhD's Rick. And then, what is it? Sorry, dude, I'm forgetting your name right now, but I have too many names in my head. But he's a really smart guy that he was with VTOS, Orthopedic, which was VTOS. Then Strkyer buys VTOS.
And destroys the market share.
And just, we did well with it, but that was really good, solid human data, right? Yeah. Human data that was used, and we had to go up against Infuse at Strkyer.
Yeah, which is an advantage that P15 has because Infuse not what it used to be.
Dude, the fact of the matter is I worked for Medtronic, I worked at Globus, and I worked at Strkyer. So like I had this inside track on all of the marketing BS. And then, dude, it's all BS, man.
Well, you realize, I mean, BS or not, after a while you see it. Like the fusions I used to do these, T2 pelvises.
The iFactor is a good product.
But also Infuse was a good product. It was just kind of like hard to handle, and it was like if you didn't know what you were doing, you caused problems.
That was right as I got on the spine scene, right before the Carnegie thing. And honestly, we didn't know what to do because there was still commissions to be done on Infuse. And I think I tell this story, right? I'm not going to go, I don't know. I want to go here because I went to training and we heard about this RHBMP2 and it was the greatest thing on the planet. And Wyatt Pharmaceuticals was the one who really innovated on it. Medtronic signs this deal with them and we're only allowed to use it in an LT cage.
Right.
The BAK cages.
Yeah, nobody uses.
Dude, would you ever use that on an ALIF? Have you ever?
No, I've never even put one in. I've seen the cervical version of it too.
Yeah, they have the cervical. It's called like inner something, like inner fix.
Double barrel shotgun.
Yeah, a guy named Dr. Andrews out of San Francisco still uses it.
And so it's one of those things. Is whatever works in your hands and you're getting good outcomes with, you have a tendency to go with that. Why should I change? But, I gave up on Infuse because of all the controversy with it. It's like, I don't want to sit there and have the conversation with the patient. Why am I putting something
Yeah,
in
because
you?
the patients asked if you were using Infuse?
Yeah, they did. When the
Google
heyday
MD,
was,
and then
I had a bunch of patients that I had used Infuse. I never forget this one guy. I did a T10 to the pelvis on him. And the reason I used Infuse is... The guy was a big-time smoker. I'm doing a T10 to pelvis on him.
Dude, bro, you're smoking.
I know. And then he comes back and he said, Doc, did you use this Infuse on me? I'm like, yes, I used Infuse on you. And I would put it on the consent with use of BMP, not Infuse.
Did you check him if he had a wire?
No.
We can think about what I'm saying. There's some lawyer.
I'm okay with that. You got
these freaking guys. I can't believe it.
But it's not like I'm...
Yeah.
And I told him, he said, but I'm short of breath. I'm like, you're short of breath because
you're a smoker.
He's like, no, but I'm like, you're short of breath in this, that black box warning. He's like, but there's a black box warning. I'm like, yeah, the shortness of breath has to do with immediate post-op neck swelling when you use it on the anterior cervical, has nothing to do with your lumbar spine.
Yes, dude. It's like
so. It literally
does that. Do you find that annoying, or do you find that a teaching moment?
It really is. It's like when you're lost. I've been lost looking for directions in Japan.
I'm lost right now.
No, come on.
Yeah,
But these patients, they're lost with all this technical information, what to do. The guy just knows he's short of breath, and the tobacco.
So that doesn't annoy you?
No, it doesn't. I mean,
because you're a special man.
No, it's not that.
No, it truly is.
You got to identify with these patients. I mean, I've definitely been sitting there like, ask me to read an EKG, right? That's the joke. Like, ask an orthopedic surgeon to read an EKG, and he'll look at you and say, well, it's not in VTAC. I don't need to shock it. That's about it.
No, look, but listen to this story, because if you didn't catch his first debut on this, and the story about the lady that like has a problem vacuuming with the Dirt Devil and like is carrying the 25-pound vacuum cleaner, and you prescribe like OCD medication.
No, I sent her to a psychiatrist.
Yeah, it's like that's funny. Is that a true story though?
True story.
People ask me, "Is that a true story?" And I go,
absolutely.
"I'm pretty sure he was. That's factual."
And she ended up not needing surgery. And
dude, but she kept on saying, "What about this lumbar stenosis?"
She had a little degenerative. And then the thing is, I mean, she might have needed it fixed 10 years down the road. And I explained that to the patients. I'm like, listen, this is what your MRI shows, and the population here that moves to Arizona that are snowbirds, they're very active.
I'm going to be a snowbird. I'm going to buy a place here.
You good?
Can we hang out on a regular basis?
Regular basis.
I'll bring you coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a here if you hang out in Arizona, where you hang out is at the spa. Whether you're male or female doesn't make a difference.
Is it like a Roman spa?
It is very much like.
Do I have to be naked in a towel with you?
Well, everybody else is.
Okay, I'll jump right in, baby. My kind of spot.
It's a Turkish spa. So there's a Monte Lucia, and everybody is a member.
Have you been to Turkey?
I have not. I've been to Turkey, but I haven't been to a Turkish bath.
I think of the Roman baths and some of the pictures I've seen from that. It doesn't
the
look
Turkish
like my kind of
baths
stuff.
are Roman baths. Just it's just the Byzantine, like the Rome collapsed, but it became the Eastern Roman Empire, which is Byzantine. They called it,
I lost you at Byzantine.
There you go. But the Turkish bath culture comes from the Roman bath, and that's where you hung out and you did business, and it was kind of like
okay, so we can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's hella hang out in there. Okay,
it's just a little exclusionary because women are on the other side, men on the other side. So if you have, it's kind of excludes.
Yeah.
It's exclusionary, but it's perfectly okay to have a meeting.
Well, I told Jessica today, I was like, okay, love, I've been hanging out with you for like constantly 7 days a week for 6 years. I'm like, aren't you sick of me? And she actually said, now she's like excited when I go on business trips. Like, and it's okay. Okay. I'm okay with it because I go, hey, I forgot my identity of hanging out with my guy friends.
Yeah.
And I had some really strong guy friends.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Is that okay now that we're married and like she needs a little bit of separation from me?
And that's the good thing there is you're keeping the communication channels open. So the fact that you're actually...
Am I in trouble on that though?
No, you're not.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah, it's the main thing is if you're doing something that you're trying to serve the relationship and advance communications, you're on her side. It's when you start working, when the perception is that you're working against me and you're doing something fun without me. But bring her out here.
She's my
Jessica
companion path. She gets to fly for free.
Great. So Minu, that'll be a great excuse. Minu and Jessica can go to the female section and they can do their chit chat.
Yeah, they can do their chit chat. Actually, Jessica's as cool as hell. Cameron hung out with her last Saturday and they go, oh, we're best friends now. And I go, that's nice. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. Be best friends with my wife. And then another thing is when Jessica and I were first dating, I loved it. I would go on these spine courses, right? They're always in Vegas.
Nice.
And we went to the Super Bowl together, the first one in Miami. And Jessica was always the one with all the guys. I went with one of my surgeons, who's one of my closest friends, Dr. David Ye. And we went to the world famous strip club in Miami. And Jessica went with us. She was one of the dudes. And she got on stage with a porn star that got on there, and we were going like, Jessica, like chanting. That's the kind of woman she is. I married her, and I'm very lucky.
So that part's all yours. I'm not going to be participating in that with my wife.
Yes,
we'll take you to the Heard Museum where you can look at Native American.
Oh
art.
my God, Jessica, dude, that's what John just said. John's embarrassed by your behavior.
No, it's not. It's just It's
but she's Persian.
Yeah, it is. But she's grew.
Could she be a Persian man?
She can do whatever she wants. I mean, she's
a female.
She can lead the country in whatever.
Yeah, you can lead the country. Just let me be your second. What is it called? The second man
or sidekick or
no. What is the if we haven't had a woman president?
So it's the first lady. It's technically going to be called the first gentleman. Yeah.
First gentleman.
That's what.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Well, Kamala Harris's husband was called something, right? I don't know.
First vice.
Yeah. No, I don't know what it was.
We didn't know. We didn't really care.
We never unfortunately. But I'm just going to, since we have Cameron hanging around in the background.
Cameron, is he going to come in? Is he going to do a walk-in?
I don't think he's up for it, but we're going to use Kamran's name.
Kamran.
So he's very much, when you have him on the show, he's going to talk to you
I had
about,
him on the last one.
We did, huh? Is talking about 3D printing. So the thing and the problem with 3D printing, it's definitely a new technology. So people don't know how things react to it. And this is historically like, they would make ships during World War II, and the metallurgy and the metal seemed okay until the ships got into ice cold water in the Atlantic, and then the metal would become brittle, and literally these Liberty ships.
Was it like Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, except without the iceberg.
I will never let go.
Yeah,
it won't be like that.
And if there was justice in the world, Leonardo would have survived, and
dude,
she would have put him in the.
He should have survived. What a bitch, dude!
With her body fat percentage,
dude, she was good. You know what? I saw an interview that really ruined her. Like she was crying. And I
She
was
was only
like, she was
19.
voluptuous.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought she was hot.
Yeah, no, she needed to be for that role because
They wanted. That's what the women looked like at that time.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's. I mean, it's just so subjective what's considered attractive, and then even surgeons, like in the old days, we used to say, like my professors, like small surgeon, small incision, big surgeon, big incision. So this idea of filleting somebody from stem to stern, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And now like, okay, we do this arthroscopically. And I can imagine like these professors would be cringing at the idea.
Ooh, this is a
can't
good question.
Yeah.
Sorry, you bring this up arthroscopically. And, I was trying to have this debate with this Dr. John Chen. He's the PhD. He's part of HJY, Anthony and Chris Young are part of the endoscopic, their platform. And so he flew out from Taiwan to meet me. And I picked him at the airport. And basically, I was trying to ask him who's better at endoscopic surgery. What is 5 minutes, Megan? We have so much to talk about. Okay, so anyways, he talks about endoscopic surgery, ortho, neuro. I feel like you guys are better.
No, there is more training. As an ortho surgeon, you scope 1,000 knees. So your idea of triangulation, where you're at. But end of the day, I remember. I'm old enough to remember when the neurosurgeons would do a laminectomy. Then the orthopedic surgeon would come in to put pedicle screws, like regular, everyday pedicle screws at New York Hospital, because the old neurosurgeon wouldn't put in pedicle screws.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and I never forget, we were, one of the attendings, I was there, I'm like, why are we going there? It's like, we got to put some screws in for this guy. Like, okay. And
that's kind of cool. You guys are like the closers. You guys are like...
it really was like an approach surgeon or something like that.
That's kind of cool.
And from that, and once he started the screw, he gave it to one of the neurosurgery residents, and he was putting it with his elbow twisting like this. And he's like, John, do you see how he's using his elbow?
Do you see how weak he is?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys are saying?
Well, he was like, so that's the difference between ortho and neuro, because we put in so many screws in ankles.
Yeah.
You just
long screws, dude, and like hip fractures and
absolutely. But that gap has closed. So Maz Kalani, who's your buddy, I mean, he knows hardware. He intuitively understands stress, strain, 3D constructs.
That guy was banging in screws at such a young age. Can you imagine if he was a brain surgeon?
I think he would be going a lot slower.
Dude, I think so too. But can I just tell you, I was in his ear as his third year and going like, hey, selfishly, dude, I want to hang out with you all the time, like for the rest of your life.
Because you're going to be firing screws in from me.
No, I wasn't even thinking about them from the monetary standpoint.
Can we talk about the fact that you operated on your mom?
I know. It's wild.
That
it's
is
wild.
Just,
it's wild,
amazing.
dude.
Yeah.
It's full circle.
But this is not, so that gap has changed. But in terms of, ortho surgeons, like I can't handle an intradural tumor or, even one of those neural cysts sucking it out. Yeah, why would I?
That's ass puckering.
Yeah, it really is. And so what?
Why do you want to do that?
No, it's not that you want to do it.
But
I think realistically, at some point in the future, there'll just be a spine residency where everybody does everything.
Makes more sense.
And that's what Chris Shaffrey was trying to do with you.
Yeah. Well, Chris Ames and Vedant Devran have been doing it for years at UCSF.
Yeah. And the outcome's better because, realistically as a spine surgeon, it's just a matter of, taking call or whatever it might be.
Yeah. I want to give you this because you are a surgeon that's dealt with industry for a long time and you know stuff. And this is why I love all your implants.
Yeah.
Because you are the most thoughtful surgeon. Sorry, I'm going to take this.
Yeah.
And now you made a thoughtful design of an implant. And I'm so excited as my distributorship to sell this stuff. I'm going to go gangbusters. I'm going gangbusters, everyone.
Sell,
everything must sell.
Yeah, sell.
Liquidate.
Baby, sell. There you go. What was that? Crazy Eddie or something?
I just feel like I
80s?
should hold that sign.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyways, tell me.
The one thing Kamran's going to come on your show and I want him to talk about is if you have an implant with 3D printing, which is a technology we're learning about, and you got to find some errors like those Liberty ships that were breaking because nobody knew about metallurgy, is that if you print this implant this way, you get a different implant, like a completely different implant, than if you make the same implant this way. So people are learning this, and it's not intuitively obvious because the implant looks the same, but the grain the pattern of printing. There's so many different steps that go into it that are not intuitively obvious that affects the outcome, and that's where the Strkyer team went wrong with titanium. Is they really didn't. They went for things based on how it looked and how the marketing team thought it would market versus how it would actually perform and how somebody actually uses this product. And based on their mistake, everybody else learned not to do that.
Well, dude, I know Megan is like, get the hell out of here. I've had a long day, John, and I'm here for a couple days, and we got more to do, and we have Cameron coming on.
Yep.
But this we got to talk about. This we geek out about.
Absolutely.
I like hearing from you how you make it, and I like to sell this stuff.
All yours.
I can sell ice to an Eskimo. Do you believe that?
I can.
Yes.
And just so you know, Eskimos do need ice.
They need ice, dude. They like cold freaking cocktails. So on that note, thank you, Scottsdale. It's 118 degrees out. I don't drink anymore. Where's the mocktail?